And do you know what, Louise? They'd have been better off getting a celebrity, paying them £2.5 grand to be there all day, to shake people's hands. It's only for the finish bit, of course. Tell them well done. Who then got the media down there? So Meridian and the BBC came down, because that would promote Walk the Wight more than giving people medals. People are not thinking straight. That's what it's about at the end of the day. And I'd love to know where a lot of their spending's going, because I think, like, Louise, if you heard the show yesterday, and I know you didn't do, Doc, David Cheek, the chief fundraiser, came on and said, we've got an awful problem with the post. It costs us more to send the application forms out to the walkers than it does to give them a medal. Right?
Right, yeah.
I said, well, why didn't you tell us? Isle of Wight Radio could quite have easily got some drop-off points out there, local businesses, and said...
if you're going to walk the Wight, go and pick up the pack
instead
from
of
here, there, or
save the price. Now that we could save them £2 or £3 grand a year doing that.
Yes, you could, but I just think, you know, getting sponsorship is a good way forward. I mean, that's something they can look at for next year. Look at, you know, admin costs, look at the medal costs, and break it down, or and just approach, you know, some local firms that can.
Louise, you had the benefit of hearing it yesterday. Do you think you went over the top or not?
At times, yes, it did get a little bit over the top, but that was only reactionary to what the public was saying, and a lot of people were just completely misinterpreting Al's point.
I've said that to even people in this office. They did not listen to what I was saying. They heard me criticising the event. I wasn't criticising the event. If they'd listened properly and taken the cloth out of their ears, I was criticising the medals at the end. Not the walk, not the people that walk the walk, and certainly not the hospice. Now, there'll be a few people sat round at a board meeting saying, oh, I think it's a good idea to do this,
yes,
good idea to do that.
A minute.
But then maybe they're not great businessmen.
But have you not... do you take my point that when people think you've sat on your backside all day in a nice, cosy, air-conditioned house... do you not think that you're not in a position to be criticising anything about the walk because you didn't take part?
All right, then, so if I don't criticise anything unless I take part in it, right, how the hell are we going to do 300-plus phone-ins a year? And I've been doing the phone-in for 15 years.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Hi, who's this?
Hello.
Hi, who are you?
Hello, Alex and Doc. It's Jean in New Milton.
Hello, Jean.
I rang once before, but I have to say, I know these charities do have managing directors and all this sort of thing, but I did hear on Isle of Wight Radio the other week on one of the news reports that Graham Elderfield is now getting 55 grand a year. What the hell's he doing for that amount?
Because someone, if you think about any business, and I don't know, the hospice, let's say, turns over £3 million a year, it has to do that to function. It's like Tony Blair saying all our money is going to schools and hospitals. Yes, it does, but we know there's an army of people that need to run the hospital who aren't doctors and nurses.
So do you telling me that Graham Elderfield is worth £55,000 a year?
I would guess that's the going rate for the job.
I know, but it's wrong. It is so wrong.
Well, who else is going to manage the hospice?
Well, it just seems that he came out of the hospital, didn't he?
Should we have an auction? We'll all offer our services for a certain sum of money, and they pick the cheapest, who might be the worst.
What's the basic wage on the island? You know,
Jean, I think the thing is, if you had some volunteer, some real do-gooder whose heart was in the right place, they wouldn't be able to generate the cash as efficiently and as grandly as a really good manager. I don't know whether Graham Elderfield... I'm not a Graham Elderfield fan.
Exactly, yes.
And Graham Elderfield would not come in. I criticised Graham Elderfield over the St Mary's Hospital when they were vastly overspending, and he wouldn't come in and do the phone-in. He phoned the radio station complaining, but unfortunately he wouldn't come in and sit where the doc is sat now. I would like Graham Elderfield to come in, and I say to Graham Elderfield, if he's listening, please come in and talk to us about the hospice, right? We will start again. I'm not one of your fans, but I haven't got it in for you, Graham. But you know, it's a big, big deal on the Isle of Wight, and people want to know where their money's going.
I can appreciate, as I said before, I can appreciate, you know, when you get managing directors and all this sort of thing, of course they're going to earn more money than the average person. But I still think for a hospice, and a lot of these charities, for £55,000, good God, I have to make do on £6 grand a year. You know, I'm a pensioner. And, excuse me, but I know I couldn't do the job. Of course I couldn't.
All right, if Graham Elderfield raised £1 million... If Graham Elderfield raised £1 million a year, would he be worth 55 grand?
You would to me, yeah.
Just a yes or no, Jean?
No.
If he raised £10 million a year, would he be worth 55 grand?
Maybe, but he's not going to raise...
Well, how do you know?
Well, I don't think he could.
All right.
But if you are the NSPCC, or let's take a good example, the RNLI or the Guide Dogs for the Blind. I think they're two. The RNLI and the Guide Dogs for the Blind are two of the wealthiest, and I use that word cautiously, wealthiest charities in Britain.
Yeah.
A few years ago, they had so much money amassed, they were told that they needed to do more with it. They couldn't stockpile money in the way that they did. But you'll find that, like any, and they are spending a lot more money now than they used to, the RNLI. And of course, remember, on the Isle of Wight, most of our lifeboats are independent. They don't get a penny from the RNLI. So we support the independent.
Wouldn't that be a
lifeboats.
good place for the RNLI to put their money then, into the little independent guys who are doing the
Well,
same
they don't,
job
because
as
they will only fund their own lifeboats. But my point being, you know, charities, the RNLI, if you go down to Poole, the quayside at Poole, you'll see this, what looks to me like an enormous kind of palace-style building. Our money, when we put it in the RNLI, some of it is going to run in that building, and the training, the support staff, the admin staff, of which I suspect there are dozens and dozens and dozens. But they, obviously, someone somewhere, the trustees presumably, have decided this is all essential in order to have a functioning national lifeboat service.
Jean, just before we go to our next caller, can you take my point about the $2.5 grand that we think the medals cost?
Yeah, I really don't think medals are necessary. I wouldn't. If I would walk the Wight, I certainly wouldn't want.
Do you know what? More
Thank
people.
you.
I did hand out thousands of these medals, and I'll tell you, the only people who declined, nobody declined one. Probably 2 or 3 people in the course of an entire day said were surprised to be getting it, or in my mind created some doubt as to whether they wanted it. The opposite was true, that people asked for them for people who pulled out of the walk,
And so they didn't even complete the walk, and they want a flipping medal.
or they wanted them for their dog, who'd also done the walk.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, it's Hayley.
Hello, Hayley.
I just think that anyone got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to walk in that weather deserves a medal.
Yeah, but...
Of course they do.
Yeah, but do they really deserve a medal? I mean, that is a saying.
Yes.
Oh, you deserve a medal for that. You deserve a medal for fighting in World War I, for fighting in World War II, for maybe being a Vietnam vet, or even being in the Gulf. But do you really, for a stroll across the Isle of Wight, Hayley, do you really deserve a medal?
In all fairness to all the walkers, though, it wasn't really a stroll this year, was it?
Maybe, Alex, you should have tried walking even from Carrisbrook, 14.5 miles to Allen Bay. You'd be in a better position to say whether you felt like you deserved a medal.
Right, you've just said, Hayley, it was treacherous. We've got an email with the word treacherous in it. Now, they cancelled the 10 Tours walk on Devon at the weekend because they thought it was dangerous. Yesterday, we were getting calls before we went on air with the phone in from people saying they should have cancelled Walk the Wight because some people thought it was dangerous. I didn't go on air and do that. I didn't go on air and say it was dangerous. I really held back yesterday because the thing was the medals. But you disagree about the medals, do you?
Yeah, I think they should have got them, yeah.
Right, okay.
It's quite an achievement for some people. There's a
did-
lot of kids doing it as well.
Yeah, well, now, kids, I can see the point of the kids getting the medals. So, what did you do with your medal?
I didn't do it, my sisters did it.
All right, and where's your sister's medal now?
I expect hanging up somewhere.
Yeah, well,
Chucked in the back of a drawer, I suspect.
Yeah, and I
most
spoke to a builder yesterday, and he said, oh, I've just chucked mine in the glove compartment. I said, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'll just leave it there. He said, people don't know what to do with medals. It's just junk at the end.
What about
of the day.
what about all those hundreds of kids who
Yeah,
walked?
they deserved a medal, because the kids will go back and they will show their friends the medal.
So
and they
don't
will
say
it will
2.5
promote-
grand was wasted, because clearly you now agree that the
No,
children
but I
did
agreed
deserve a
yesterday
medal.
over the children getting medals. It's 12:27. Right, it's 12:30, and one of the bonuses about working at this radio station in National Sandwich Week is you get given a sandwich every day for a week. Right, and funnily enough, just on the other side of the glass, we've got other TV people out there. Meridian Barry and Meridian Dave are out there. I'm Roy the Whippet Man, and Gene, I'm coming to you. Something else that gets my goat is that I see them coming down the corridor with mugs of coffee all day. When has either one of those two blokes put their hand in their pocket and bought so much as a pint of milk or any coffee or tea for this building?
When did you last buy coffee or tea for the building?
Oh, about a month ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
You should.
But that's not the point.
Well, they're tenants.
Let's go to Jean first of all. Hello, Jean. Now, you were on before, but you said there was something really important that you felt you had to get off your chest. So quickly.
Well, this medal situation, like you say, for the kiddies, okay. But to be honest, I am a cancer patient, or I was in 1995.
Right.
And to be honest, if I did Walk the Wight or anything like that, I would do it just for the sheer hell of still being here. Never mind a blimmin' medal.
They all would. Everybody would have done that on Sunday.
Well, no, you weren't here to say when English people saying, I deserve my medal, I'm glad I've got my medal,
I'm sure he said no such thing.
He did.
I don't believe you.
I really don't think medals are necessary.
Thank you, Jean. Did you listen yesterday, Jean?
Yes, I did.
Right, so you knew the flack that I was taking from people. I was pounded for about an hour.